Hi, this is Vicki with craftingforfun.blogspot.com. Today I'm going to show you how I made this cute little top note shaped purse. This purse is 1 inch thick, and it was made using several different Sizzix dies, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. It closes with a jumbo brad, and it has a ribbon handle. To make this project, you'll need 2 8.5 by 11 sheets of standard weight cardstock. I am using Certainly Celery by Stampin' Up, and you'll need some patterned paper or cardstock, along with your ribbon and your brad. Let me grab my dies, and I'll show you more about which dies I used for this project. I used 3 dies for this project. The first is the Circles number 3 die. The second is the Scalloped Circle die. And the third and most important for this project is the Top Note die. All of these dies are available by Stampin' Up, and I will put the item numbers on the screen so that you can know exactly which products I'm talking about. I want to show you an important feature of this Top Note die. When you cut a shape using the Top Note die, in addition to getting a nice crisp die cut shape, this die also makes a perforated line that runs around the entire perimeter of your piece. In a later step in this project, I'll talk more about that perforated line. So let me gather the supplies that I've need for this project, and I'll be back to show you how I made my purse. To create the base of your purse, you'll need to begin with a 5.5 by 6.5 inch piece of cardstock. What I did was I laid my cardstock on my scoring tool, and this is the 6-inch side. I scored at 2.5 and 3.5 inches. I turned my cardstock and I scored at 1 inch from each of the edges along the 5.5 inch side. Then I applied sticky strip to the rectangular section at either end of my cardstock. I turned it over, and the little square section I applied sticky strip. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to cut from the outside edge to the first score line. Oops, I have something sticky on my scissors. From the outside edge to the first score line on each side. I'm going to turn it around and repeat the same process. This is the only cutting that you'll need to do in order to create the base of your purse. So I'm going to lay my scissors aside. I'm going to fold my purse base along all of the score lines. And this would be a good time to take out your bone folder and burnish all of the edges well. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip those little square sections up and remove the sticky strip. And I'm going to begin building my box. I'm going to take the first tab, I'm going to fold the box side up, and the side that I'm folding up first is the side that does not have sticky strip on the rectangular sections. Then I'm going to go back and remove the sticky strip from my rectangular sections. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold the sides of my box up, making sure I line everything up real carefully. Oops. There we go. I'm going to take my bone folder, and this box will form the base of my purse, so I'm going to set that aside. To create the pieces that you'll need to decorate the front and back of your box, you'll need to bring back your Top Note die. You'll need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 4 1/4 by 5.5, and 1 piece of patterned paper or patterned cardstock that also measures 4 1/4 by 5.5. I stacked all 3 of them together and ran them through the Big Shot at the same time. That ensured that my pieces were all exactly the same size, and it saved time. I laid them on top of my die so that I had one straight edge that was just inside of the cutting line. This will give you a nice shaped edge on 3 sides, but one side of your cut piece will have a straight edge. I sandwiched that between my 2 cutting plates and ran it through my Big Shot machine. Here are the 3 shapes that I have created. Now, that perforated line that I was talking about is very important in this next step. On my patterned piece, I'm going to turn it over because it's easier to see on the solid side than it is on the printed side. And I'm going to trim, using my paper snips, right along that perforated line around the entire perimeter of this piece. What I want to end up with is a piece of pattern paper that is slightly smaller than the piece of solid paper so that it makes a nice shadow or edge when I apply it, when I layer them together. What I'm going to do is layer these two pieces together to make the front of my purse. So I'm just about finished trimming here. There we go. Get rid of my scraps. I'm going to apply adhesive, a generous amount, to my pattern paper here. There we go. And I'm going to set one of those aside, and I'm going to apply my pattern paper to my solid piece. There we go. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to bring back my box that I created for my base, and I'm going to apply my front to my box. Now, you'll notice when you lay the box on top of the shape that the shaped piece is much larger than the box. So what you want to do is when you apply adhesive, you want to make sure that you avoid applying adhesive near the edges, but you do want to apply adhesive near the straight edge because you want very good contact. So I find it easiest to just apply my adhesive directly onto my top note shape. Then I bring my box back and I line it up so that I have about the same amount on either side, and my edges line up. And I take my bone folder and burnish, and when I turn it over, my top note shape is attached to my box. Now what I'm going to want to do is repeat that process for my back of my box. Now this one I actually find it easier to pick the box up and to hold it against the piece of top note. Make sure that they're about the same on both sides, and burnish. And there I have the front and back of my box completed. Now I just have to construct my lid. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to get the things that I need in order to make the top of my box.